this is Coach Andi. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy that you are tuning into this video and could be here today. The purpose of today's video is for me to talk about the fact that I finally completed 75 Hard. And I am so excited about it. It's been about a week now since I completed it, and so I thought it would be great for me to kind of come back on here, talk a little bit about how this final experience went. What am I gonna keep in my routine? What changes would I make if I were to do this again in the future? I just wanna remind you to make sure that you subscribe so any future videos I do about holistic health topics, you will get notified. And let's jump into it. All right, so if you haven't already seen the two videos that are already on my page, they are linked in the description below. But I did come on here previously and talk about the fact that I tried 75 Hard before and I failed. That was one video. And then I did another video to announce that I was trying it again. So let me tell you really quick what 75 Hard is in case you're not familiar with it, haven't heard of it before. So 75 Hard is a mental toughness program created by Andi of First Form. It's definitely having like a moment right now, a lot of people doing it. But in case you're not sure what exactly the requirements are or what it is, you have to complete a set of tasks every single day for 75 days straight. If you miss any of the tasks on any of the days, then you automatically start back at day one. The list of the tasks are you have to do 2 45-minute workouts every single day, and one of them has to be outside. Another requirement is that you have to choose a diet to stick to. You can pick whatever diet you want, but you have to stick to it for the entire 75 days. You have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book every single day. You have to abstain from alcohol. You have to take a progress picture every single day. You also have to drink a gallon of water every single day. It has to be plain water in a jug, similar to this. This is 64 ounces, and so I would drink 2 of these every single day. Okay, so what was my, just in case you haven't seen those other videos, what was my general experience with 75 Hard? So I did attempt to do 75 Hard once. I started it right after Thanksgiving, I believe it was. So I was doing it during the bitter winter months here in Utah. I made it about 33 days and then I failed. Purely mental, purely my own fault for failing. I let my mind get the best of me, and so I failed. Failure really hit me hard. As I mentioned in that video, like I felt really bad about myself, felt like, you know, all these people I look up to are doing 75 Hard and completing it. Like, does this mean I'm not good enough? Does this mean I'm not like successful or not gonna be successful? So it really messed with me mentally. Then I decided to try it a second time, which I didn't talk about publicly or tell anyone really about that I was doing it. And I only made it about 2 weeks that time because I ended up going through a huge major life change. I moved, got my own apartment, became a single mom of 2 kids. So there was a lot going on. And so I only made it about 2 weeks that time. And it just was always something in the back of my mind that I knew that I wanted to do. I believed so much in the program. I've heard so many wonderful things said about it. Like I said, so many people that I look up to have been able to complete it and talk about it being so important as part of their journey to becoming who they are. So I always knew it was something that I wanted to do, and it's just always been in the back of my mind that like at some point I have to do 75 Hard. Like at some point the stars will align, it'll be the right time, and I'm gonna do it. The end of March, maybe the beginning of April, or sometime around then, and I just decided like, okay, I'm settled into my new apartment, I'm in a groove, you know, with sharing custody with my kids and my work's all handled, and I was like, I feel like right now would be a really good time to challenge myself to finally see this thing through. But I knew mentally that whenever I decided to finally do it, that this had to be the time. Like I couldn't handle another failure. So I knew that if I were going to commit to doing this, then I had to just see it through. I was really nervous to start because I knew like I couldn't fail again. This was going to be the time. 3rd time's the charm, right? I decided to do it. I went in and I was like, I'm doing it. Started my day 1. And if I'm being completely honest, it felt easy. Even though it's called 75 Hard, for me, mentally, it felt easy because I wanted to succeed so badly. So I was putting in all of the time and effort. My diet was on point. I was enjoying my workouts. I was like, yes, it's time to go do my outdoor. Like, yes, I gotta drink my water. I was like crushing my water, getting done with my water so early every day. Reading, I was flying through that. So it just felt like I was just on a roll. Like I was feeling really, really, really good. And then around day 50, I feel like I hit a wall where I was just like, okay, the novelty, the newness of this has worn off. I'm now 2/3 of the way done. I've never made it this far. This is a huge accomplishment. I'm kind of worn out and tired from exercising twice a day for 50 days. Then I started to feel that dragging feeling that I anticipated feeling at the beginning, but that never came. It was just this it was like, ugh, I just don't feel like doing this today. I just don't feel like drinking the water. I don't feel like reading. And I was so close to the end, right? So I was just like, I felt like I was just kind of dragging my feet. And it became like kind of going through the motions a little bit, if I'm being honest. I still got everything done that I needed to get done every day, but I didn't have the same drive or inspiration that I had the first 50 days of 75 Hard. And I will say that the last week or two was the hardest. The last 5 days of 75 Hard were absolutely brutal. This self-sabotage kind of mindset came into play for sure, and it was so interesting to be able to observe it, but I found myself like trying to justify why it would have been okay if I gave up. Like, oh my gosh, well, you made it. A lot of people don't even make it this far, and like technically, you basically done it the whole time. Like you did it 70 days, and I'm like, and I had to put myself in check and be like, it's called 75 Hard, not 60 Hard or 68 Hard. It's 75 Hard. And so I just had to tell myself, like, you're almost done. You can do this. You can get through it. And I think something that really helped me towards the end of getting through, those brutal last, 5 days really, was that I kind of switched up my workout routine and decided to follow new programming that I had never done before. So it kind of reinvigorated, re-sparked that excitement about going to the gym, about challenging myself, about, making progress and getting things done. So that really helped me. And so I would recommend, if you were to ever do 75 Hard and if you come across that, to like find ways to make it interesting and mix it up, whether you need to switch the book out or, find new recipes to incorporate in your diet, stuff like that. Overall, how this third attempt and my final success, how it went was that the diet was definitely, I think, the easiest for me because I already eat well every single day as it is, even if I'm not on 75 Hard. So I don't really have massive cravings like I maybe would have had at a different point in my life. So what I noticed was times when I would have mindlessly ate something, and even if it was something I didn't really want. So for example, if I'm like prepping snacks for my kids or preparing food for other people and it was things that they could eat that I couldn't, if I hadn't been on 75 Hard, I probably would have just like tasted it or had a couple bites or whatever, even if I didn't even really want it or knew that it wasn't really going to satisfy any kind of craving or anything for me. So it definitely put more perspective for me and gave me the awareness to pay attention to when I do that, when I'm not doing 75 Hard, to just make sure that I'm always eating things that are either nourishing my body or catering to some kind of specific craving that I might be feeling, and not just like mindlessly eating. I found the reading the most challenging this time, which is interesting because the first 2 times I did 75 Hard, it was like one of my favorite tasks. But I think it was because I've been consuming so much information from so many different places, like podcasts. I'm in a coaching group. I was working with my own coach. She was giving me assignments to read. It was just, I was taking a lot of information. So what I found that really worked for me was to make reading, when I could, the very first task I got done for the day, because by the end of the day, if I hadn't done my reading and it was nighttime, it was brutal sometimes to make myself read because mentally I'm just like so checked out. I'm so exhausted. I don't want to take in any more information. And I think for me, there was a time where I had to switch books a couple times because I would try to get into it and it was just too dense or it wasn't keeping me interested or engaged. And so I really got into the reading when I started reading Atomic Habits. I actually flew through that book, and the requirement of reading 10 pages a day was so easy because I wanted to read more than that. I basically wanted to read like full chapters every time I had time to read. So highly recommend that book if you guys haven't already checked it out. I linked it below in the description so you can take a look, grab it on Amazon. And then, like I said, because I was so motivated to see it through this time, a lot of the tasks starting out, you know, the first, again, like 50 days or so, were feeling pretty easy. Like the water wasn't challenging for me. I felt like I was getting done by about 6, 7 o'clock at night, which is great because then you're not up all night peeing. I was having a lot of fun in the gym, and the weather started to get a lot nicer here in Utah because it was spring transitioning into summer. So I was kind of experimenting with doing more runs outside instead of just walks. But a majority of the time, I will say, my second workout, the outdoor workout, would be just walking. And other days it was just like mindful stretching or like active recovery. So I really decided to make this maintainable. I think that the first 2 times I tried 75 hard, I thought that my workouts had to look a certain way. I thought I had to be like dying at the end of it for it to be worth it. And I just decided when I did this 3rd round of 75 hard that I really want to see this through to the end. I don't want to get injured. I don't want to stress out my body. So I'm going to listen to it. And there are going to be days where like both my workouts might have to be walking or stretching or something like that. So I just really tried to listen to my body when it came to the physical aspects of 75 hard. All right, so you might be interested in knowing like what habits do I plan on keeping up now that 75 hard is over. Well, I will say that, so I'm a week done now with 75 hard. And so it's been a week where I haven't had to do anything. And the first thing that quickly fell off my list of habits and routine was the reading again. And that makes sense to me because that was probably one of the harder things for me to get done during 75 hard. I just feel like now that I don't have to read, I'm not prioritizing it, which is a bummer and something I want to figure out how I can integrate that into my daily life because I do enjoy learning and reading. It's just, again, mentally becomes like, it feels like it's so much work. So I tend to just say, oh, I'll do it later, but then later comes and I don't actually end up doing it. I definitely want to stick to my way of eating, my diet. I liked the fact that I cut out processed foods. So what I did for my diet this final round of 75 hard that I just completed was basically a modified approach to paleo. I did no processed foods, nothing that came in packages or with labels or anything like that. But I did allow myself to have like rice and beans and some things that aren't typically included in a paleo diet. And I feel like I want to continue doing that, but I actually want to cut out even like the rice and the beans and just really focus on produce, so fruits and vegetables and meat and some eggs. Like I think that is when I feel best, is when I'm just kind of following a little bit of like a modified carnivore diet, animal based, I guess you could say. My focus right now is really prioritizing protein because I am, back into lifting and CrossFit type workouts. And so I want to make sure that my body has the protein that it needs so that I can actually be like building lean muscle and burning body fat and all of that kind of stuff. Then what did I let go of since I've ended 75 hard? So like I mentioned, the books reading was the first thing to go. I also don't feel the need to drink a gallon of water every single day. I really just think for the average person, and even for me, that is just an amount of water. It's just arbitrary. Like you can't just put a number on it and say everybody needs to drink this much. So I've been trying to complete a full, 64 ounces every day. And then anything over that to me is like a bonus, like great, I got it in. But really just tuning into, what do I need? Do I need more water? Do I need, more hydration? So something that I want to mention that I try to mention every time I talk about 75 hard is that if you are going to be drinking a gallon of water, make sure that you are adding minerals to your water. So when we are consuming a high quantity of water and we are peeing more and it's running through our bodies faster, it's actually depleting our bodies of minerals that we need. So if you are adding minerals back into your water, then you can make sure that you are staying balanced. So I made sure that I had trace minerals added to my water. I've linked the kind that I get below in the video description. And I also used the Elementi electrolyte salts a couple times like throughout the challenge as well. Okay, so what were the positive effects of 75 hard as far as how they impacted me and my health? I will say that I slept so well during 75 hard. I think that a lot of that I attribute to hydration, to moving my body, and to eating well. I also didn't deal with any acne the entire time that I was doing 75 hard, and even still my skin has stayed really clear. I also attribute that to getting enough water, you know, hydrating every single day, but also being outside, getting the sun every single day. I feel like those things really helped me. Also, in general, I feel like my body just really toned up during the entire 75 hard experience. So I'll put my before and after here for you guys to check it out. But during, like, while I was actually completing 75 hard, I never really felt like I was seeing progress. I mean, I maybe noticed some things here or there. I don't weigh myself, so I didn't have those numbers to go off of. And then I was blown away to actually look at my day 1 and then my day 75 picture, because I can definitely see changes in my body. My arms are more toned, my stomach, everything just kind of like tightened up. So I'm really excited to continue with the exercise and the diet, and again, maintaining most of these habits so that I can continue to shape my body and challenge myself to accomplish new things in the fitness space. All right, a big question I'm getting is, do I recommend it? So do I recommend 75 hard? Honestly, I recommend it for everyone. I just think that it's important for you to be practical about how you can best do it so that it fits your lifestyle. So again, if walking is gonna be the best type of workout for you, then that's great. Do something that's gonna be maintainable, that you can be consistent with. Make sure you're adding minerals to your water, like I mentioned before. Make sure that you're reading things that are interesting to you and stimulating your mind and helping your life in some way. But I definitely think that everyone could benefit from the overall discipline that you gain from showing up every single day, doing the work, getting the tasks done, you know, learning to quiet the inner bitch voice and just be relentless in seeing it through. I also think it's just a great way to jumpstart like a healthy lifestyle, especially if you're interested in sobriety. I mean, you have to do all 75 days without alcohol. I think it's a great opportunity for people who want to take a break and want to improve their health, want to improve their body aesthetically, want to have the motivation to show up and work out in the gym every single day. I just think it's a great jumping off point even for beginners. In general, for me, as far as how my mindset has changed, I definitely noticed that I feel like a much stronger person mentally. Before, maybe I would have looked for excuses to put things off to the next day, not get things done as quickly as I would have wanted to get them done, or just kind of allow myself to be lazy. And now I feel like I am so motivated to go and accomplish all the things that I haven't been able to accomplish yet, because 75 hard was one of them. And now that I've done it, I have that proof to myself that I can do hard things. And so I'm really excited to continue with that mindset and see where it takes me in this next year. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about 75 hard, please comment below. I would love to chat with you about it. If there's any videos that you would like to see in the future about different health topics, please let me know, because I'm always looking to create content that's gonna resonate with you guys. So I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.